Another question that comes up a fair amount is this idea of won't this thing drive people away? Won't sales tax drive away customers to our community? Won't a gaming terminal fee make the gaming companies go elsewhere? Won't just being home rule cause people to jump across the border and live in Wisconsin? So let's address each of those. For me personally, I looked at each of these very carefully in researching and trying to make an informed decision for myself as I go to the polls. Um, Sales tax, what I found, is not a major driver of consumer decisions for our main categories of sales tax. The majority of our sales tax comes from two categories. The first one is one that includes boat sales, car sales, and car parts. And when you look at that, many people who are purchasing a boat are coming to Skipper Buds because they're one of the top companies in the country. They're buying their car where it's reputable. They're getting their car fixed where it's reputable. The sales tax doesn't necessarily play into the consumer behavior. And then our second highest category is restaurants. And this is one where we've seen good growth over the last few years in restaurant sales. But again, this is one where that 1% sales tax maybe changes the final bill 50 cents. But would you rather go somewhere where you get mediocre food but the sales tax is lower, or do you go where the food is good? So those are things that we looked at, and our sales tax already is among one of the lowest in Lake County. Currently, it's 7% total sales tax. We see other communities, many at 8%, some 8.5%, and there's some that go as high as 10 across the state. One of the other things we looked at is a gaming terminal fee. So this is a fee that goes to the gaming company, the company who owns the gaming machines that are hosted, usually within restaurants and bars, anywhere where there's a poor liquor license. We have $40 million played in Winthrop Harbor last year. But this is one that, as we see other communities charge $500 to $1,500 per terminal, those are home rule communities, and we're limited to $25 per terminal, yet they're still going into these home rule communities. So we talked to the gaming lobby. I attended a meeting with a couple of gaming lobbyists who said they support local communities setting their fees. They said they want to know what box to play in, and there's enough money to go around. They just need to know that they're welcomed, that and then they'll figure out how to make money. There's this question of, won't just being home rule drive people across the border? There is no doubt that Illinois is dysfunctional. And 80% of residents in Illinois live in a home rule community, right? We're kind of in the minority in that way. But when you look across the border, all of Wisconsin, 100% of Wisconsin is home rule by state constitution. The Wisconsin state constitution gives each municipality that rule inherently, as opposed to going through the referendum process. Last question that I've been getting a lot from people is this question of, well, what kind of difference will I feel, right? If we become home rule in this November election, what will that feel for me? And a lot of times it comes followed by some concern or fear or question. Honestly, for the majority of residents, you'll probably feel it very little, right? That 1% sales tax when you shop locally or go to a local restaurant. Hopefully you feel smoother roads as you're driving around. These are some of the performance measures or key performance indicators that we've looked at as a board, that if we were to become home rule, we want to make sure we're measuring and communicating to the residents, right? If this is something that the voters choose, going into it, we know it's measurable, and we can look and say, was this thing successful in what we set out to do? So those are things like reducing the percentage of budget derived from property tax. We should see that reliance on property tax go down. Reduced percentage of property tax bill levied by the village. You should be able to pick up your tax bill in the future and see, like, wow, a smaller and smaller percentage is going to the village. Reduced overall crime rate and crime statistics, right? As we manage our rentals and blighted properties, our vacant properties more effectively through strength of ordinance as a home rule community. We should see some of the crime rate go down, and then improved annual road conditions. One of those core revenue goals is to fund our capital improvement plan, right? With again, a incremental improvement. This isn't an overnight thing, but in that 5 years, we can go from 10% good roads today to 40% in that 5 year.